This is the downstairs back reception room, which I've been using as an office for the last few years. It's set up for 2 people. I've just taken computers out of here, but there's 2 computer desks. There's Cat5 network cables to sockets behind both desks. And down here you can see the garden, which of course is overgrown and neglected because I haven't been here for a long time. 5 kilowatt air conditioner on the wall, and it's a very nicely equipped office. It's a nice place to work, actually, especially in the summer with the patio doors open and the wind blowing through. It's lovely. Very nice. Oh yes, so gas fire, and it's one that you don't have to crawl on your hands and knees to light. He says, oh, there it goes. There we are, and mood lighting on a remote control. Doesn't look much now, but at night it's as bright as the fire and it looks beautiful. Oak fireplace. There we are. Yeah, so that's the downstairs back room. Just for bearings, that's the front door, of course. This is the hall. It's quite a nice wide hall in these houses. Oversized radiators throughout the house. And this doesn't make the house any hotter, but it means that when it's cold, or you've been away on holiday or something like that, and you come back to the house, it warms up in no time at all because the radiators are about 4 times bigger than you'd normally find. This is the room I've been using as the living room. I think it's 13 foot by 12, something like that. That's the bay window. And the wallpaper matches the geometry of the room with the bay in it, ceiling paper. So I was quite pleased with that. No doubt most people probably want to rip it out and do something else with it, but and a very nice sculpted rounded end in this corner. And my partner's used some kind of silk paint over the wallpaper here. So this is one of the 2 rooms that I would say needs decorating the most urgently. I'm leaving the settee here. It's 20 odd years old, supremely comfortable, but not a very fashionable colour, is it? There we are, and of course the front of the house. Let's have a look through the window. Well, if I can find an opening in the net curtain, there's one. No, it isn't. Oh, the 2 nets here, is it just one? I think, right, I think it's just one net that goes the whole width, I'm not sure. There we are, overgrown garden, but it's a lovely sunny street. Vine Tree Avenue may not always be sunny, but it's always quiet. And considering how close we are, I'm just seeing if I can turn the camera around so I can talk sincerely to the camera. No, I can't. Considering how close we are to the town centre of Crewe, this road is remarkable. And this spot in Vine Tree Avenue, it's a gem of a find. I've been very, very happy here. Nantwich Road, 50 yards that way. Somerville Street runs that way. And Danebank College, I don't know what they're calling it these days, is behind a few sets of houses in that direction. Let's have a walk round, why don't we? It's a nice day. I think it's the 30th of September today. There am I. This is the sort of the industrial area down the side here. A pair of air conditioner units. They're 10-15 years old, but they're 5 kilowatts. And one's in the downstairs office, and the first one, of course, when you're fitting air cons, needs to go in the bedroom, because when it's so hot that the entire town can't breathe, at least you can go to bed and enjoy supreme comfort. Well, to be honest, the exterior is looking neglected because it has been. A bit of wood missing from the corner there, but you know. And these things here are automatic 6-watt floodlights, and there's 4 of them down the side. When you walk down the side to the bins, the lights come on, security angle, 180 degree, 18 times optical zoom. Let's just zoom in on it. 360 degree camera, and there's one on the front edge there. And they come back to the hub underneath the stairs. Another security camera. I have a note on the door which says, deliveries, please use parcels in the red bin. And so parcels get dumped in there, and that's what the camera's for, supervising the red bin. 20 years ago, a burglar came over the back fence yonder and came along the garden, and he was going to take the bikes in the shed because he'd seen them, because I don't know who it was, but it was somebody who did some building work when they fitted my French doors there, which are now in need of some TLC. But they came for the bikes. They didn't take the bikes, because instead they pried open this window and took my laptop computer, which was sitting on the table inside. Bastards. And of course the police were called and everything died down, and 2 or 3 days later the fuckers came back and nicked the bikes. So now I've welded this up myself. It's a steel box section girder thing, concealed lock. You can't get into that for disc cutters. There's the lock, and it clamps on 2 other things, which are, it's not just bolted to the shed. There's a 4x2 handmade bench inside, very heavy, and I've even ground off the nuts so you can't even get a spanner on them. The garden looks like shit, obviously. Well, it's a wonderful garden. It's a lovely space, and you know, in the summer it's so quiet here. Behind is the former Cliff Evans maintenance yard, and in about 2012 planning permission was granted. At first there were applications for 4-storey blocks of flats and like 80 people living here, but eventually they were able to build some reasonably nice modern houses, and I've been very lucky with my house here, because there's actually nothing directly overlooking the back of mine. I'm overlooking this gap. There's somebody's bedroom up there, but the tree hides it nicely, and there's a house there which could potentially overlook me, but again, you can't see through the trees. So I've been very lucky. That laurel tree, every few years I cut that back. Let's have a look at that laurel tree. Every few years I cut that back to something like 5 foot tall, and like 10 years later, I suppose, since I last did it, look at the state of it now. It just wants cutting back, because it's a nice little bush. And there's a fantastic apple tree, and to sit underneath this in the summer with the dappled sunlight coming through, so peaceful. The bottom shed I call my sub shed. That's quite new, a couple of years old, because the other one fell to bits, but it's on a concrete base. And as long as you keep the roof intact, they do tend to last for a long time. That what's this? Is this a Pyrrhus? I planted that. It was a little squidge of a thing in that pot, because I didn't want it to. I wanted to be able to move it around. It wants pruning, doesn't it? But look at the size of it, and it's only growing in a pot. Spiky branches. Be careful. Oh, and that burglar I told you about that nicked my bikes and my laptop, he got over the fence here. Now, there's a lot of ivy on there now, and you can't even see the fence anymore, but that's why I planted this azalea bush in about 2002. That is a £400, it's called a party arbour, and it's from B&Q. And just going back towards the house, picking his way, you can see a roof full of solar panels. That's 3.75 kilowatt system, and of course it's generating power now, which we can use to boil the kettle or whatever, run the lights, whatever you want, and whatever you don't use automatically goes back into the grid, and you get paid for everything that's produced by the roof, whether I use it or not. So even if I'm running both air conditioners and the kettle at the same time and using all the power, I still get paid for that power, and the current rate, which goes up every year, is something like 51 pence per unit. And that means when I send my reading in, you can send them a maximum of every 3 months, but I tend to wait until my trigger is at the end of the summer, when the hour changes in October. and then I send in the readings, and last time it was 1,300 quid that I got back within a few days. Can you imagine getting a cheque from British Gas for 1,300 quid? Let's just walk down the kitchen. Oh, the understairs hub. Okay, it's full of crap, but of course I'll shift most of this. This great big green thing on the wall, this is the solar inverter for the solar panels. And I paid something like 1,500 quid extra to get this one because you can fit batteries to it. Although at the time I never did, because the batteries were a lot more expensive then relatively than they are now. And I decided to wait and see what happened to the battery prices. I run a 8-bay NAS with 16 terabytes of storage space, thousands of hours of TV and stuff, rendered largely useless these days due to Netflix. That's a file server that runs a Windows server and email server. There's a network hub, 16-port hub, that runs network sockets, security cameras, whatever it is, to all four corners of the house. And then, of course, crap down there, crap everywhere else. Oh, and this kicks out quite a lot of heat. And I've got two extractor fans in here. There's an external extractor there, which is controlled by that thermostat. When it reaches a certain temperature, something like 30 in here, well, bearing in mind it's up high, when it reaches 30 degrees it turns the external extractor on to suck out the heat from this room. And below that temperature there's an internal fan on a thermostat here, and when I turn that, when that kicks in, it turns on this fan here, which sucks heat from the very top of the room and pumps it out through there into the hall. So that's why it says free heat pipe, 20th of September 2014. That's when I fitted it. So it comes out there. Yes, well. Why don't we have a quick whiz around the kitchen? That's a Zanussi built-in microwave oven, 800 watts. That's a Stove 720EF double fan oven with grill and goodness knows what else. These are 800 quid. That's it's a cheap replica of a Bosch gas on glass thing, but I prefer to cook on the hob with gas, electric oven gas hob, that's how I like it. It's quite difficult to keep clean. It's clean at the moment, but it is a bit of a nuisance to keep clean, that's the only thing. This extractor extracts outside. So there's literally a hole in the wall, and that extractor pumps all your cooking fumes outside. None of this carbon filter bollocks that you have to replace every 6 months and costs a fortune. There's also, under here, that fan there activates that one. Okay, I know it needs clean. That's a 9-inch extractor fan. That fan literally sucks the doors open. Let's just try this now to demonstrate. Allow me to demonstrate. Or in Austin Powers, allow myself to demonstrate. Let's just rest the door there and turn the fan on. See that? It's pulling air into the kitchen, extracting it through there. So any odours or whatever, you know, honestly, you could have people smoking pipes in here, and all the smoke goes up straight through the wall in order to impress the neighbours. So that's what that's for. And there's another fan here which extracts from the cavity behind the microwave oven, behind there. Probably can't hear that, but I can. So I like to cook exotic food, and I don't like the house to smell of cooking. Wine racks all the way up there, plenty of booze, which I'll leave in. It's for you to use or dispose of as you wish. Yeah. Not that I'm a heavy drinker, but I do like to have stuff in stock. Oh yeah, this is well, for those who know, the sound system in this kitchen is remarkable. There's a computer up there, screens here, keyboard here. Don't know what's happened to the mouse, but that's connected via, well, of course, no cables because they're hidden. But the cables go up there, along there, down there, round there, and into that little cable box hub, which is a 4-way selector switch. and you can select from the computer or this radio CD player, or there's a loose wire to connect your phone to, into this, which is a 525 watt, I don't know, speakers all around the place, and that's a sub. I couldn't find anywhere better to put it. I was going to put it behind the bin, but then the bin wouldn't fit, so it's been there for, I suppose, 10 years, but the sound in here is amazing. Yeah, disco lights, 2 of those, smoke machine. I used to be a DJ, and I don't do that anymore because I'm an old man now, but I discovered that what I miss most about actually the nightclub scene is the smell of nightclub smoke. And so that's why I've I think I spent £100 on a smoke machine from Tandy or something. It wasn't Tandy, that was years ago, wasn't it? Right, so anyway, yes, that's the kitchen. It's a nice space. There's room for 2 people to sit with a bit of a table there, or what I had was stools. And this is very sturdy. It's a piece of kitchen worktop, as you can see, cut to fit. I fitted the kitchen myself. I used to be a kitchen fitter. And so it's to my specification, my design. There's space for the bin, which everybody forgets about. There's space for the trays, which people forget about. Fridge, separate freezer. That's, at the time, it was the very top of the range. Zanussi WDJ 1500 washing machine and dryer. And yeah, several lighting circuits. Lights underneath, you can see that. It's just a nice kitchen. And I've got 2 lights out, but I've got new transformers here. Right, well, they're a bit shy today, but LED drivers, not transformers. Quickly upstairs before my phone runs out of memory space. Yes. Oh, yes, regarding the windows. The windows in this house are the original 1920s wooden windows. And the reason for this, and you know, the number of people knocking, trying to flog me double glazing over the years, is certainly in double figures. And they can't, oh, we can do it finance for you, Mr. Davis. Well, it's never been about the money. I like the originality. I like the wooden windows because that's what the house is supposed to have. None of this bloody plastic modern double glazing shite, which I now realise that 95% of humans seem to want. But anyway, you've got original windows, and over the years I have spent thousands maintaining them, filling them, patching them up. But in 2020, when I bought a house in Wales, they were ready for another patch up and it was time for their maintenance decoration. Anyway, that didn't happen, and as a result they have degraded alarmingly in the last 5 years. So if you want to fit plastic windows, you probably will, but I still wouldn't. I'd still keep on with the wooden ones because they're just so much nicer. Yes, I've taken photos of the bedrooms separately when they looked a bit prettier with the curtains open, but I'm just about to drive back to Wales now, and so I've closed the curtains and I'm just leaving town for somewhere far quieter and far more beautiful than Crewe. Hate to say that, because I have been very happy here for a long time, but I've now fallen in love with Wales. The sound system here is amazing. That is a speaker. Wharfdale, don't remember the model. Wharfdale speaker, and the sub is down there, the matching sub. And I can hear the amplifier that's on actually. It's only a tiny little amp. You don't need much because it's only an office, but if you're watching something on the computer screen, it's nice to be able to have a decent sound in here. But the sound is ridiculously good. Aren't those speakers fabulous? Can't even. People say, "Where's the sound coming from?" Because they don't look like speakers. You can even, it looks like a picture frame. You can put a picture in there if you want to, make them even more subtle. Right, that's it. We're out of here.